Mortise and tenon notches are made in so many varieties, styles, and sizes that it would be exhausting to try to describe them all. Rather, we will pick one, a post notch used for roof and timber framing that is in many ways typical. Simply put, a mortise is a hole in a log or timber, and a tenon is a member that will fit into it. Choose the side of the log that you feel will be most suitable, dog it in place, and snap the center lines. Place a center line on the end and a level line. In most instances, you will work from the center line when dealing with round material, as opposed to working from a face edge as when using square timber. An ink line or chalk line may be snapped horizontally if the log is short. Otherwise, roll the log and snap the line straight down. Measure in the location of the mortise, and with 2 squares, locate the cut lines. By this means, you can draw in cut lines that are 90 degrees to the center line. Next, we will determine the width of the seat cut, which will be very slightly less than the diameter of the post, or if the post has been flattened on the sides, it will be the width between the flats. The width has been marked on a level and a square used to locate the point. You could also measure 1/2 of the diameter from the center line and use the level to find the point on the line below. Measure the distance between this point and the horizontal center line below and apply that measurement to the other 3 corners, then cut out the piece. Extend the center line and lay out the mortise. This mortise will be cut 100 millimeters deep. The end cuts can be made vertically by keeping the saw parallel to the shoulder. The side cuts can be judged by using a vertical reference. If the side cuts are a little inside the line, there will be material to make a correction, and the final size can be determined with a template and a square. The layout for the post, the tenon portion, will also be taken from the center line.
Is there quite a bit of schooling going on in the area?
With these lines in place, again use your two squares to draw an accurate line right around the log. There are other ways to locate this line, but this is probably the most reasonably accurate approach. This line will provide the tenon. The tenon may be made a little long and a final length cut later, but that is not strictly necessary. Draw in the end size of the tenon on the log end by squaring from the center line both ways. Extend these lines back to dimension the tenon, then cut away the side wood. More accuracy with the chainsaw is obtained by walking the saw down the cut, and the operator is being very careful to avoid overcutting the lines. The tenon can be brushed to size with the chainsaw and completed with a large chisel or slick. Check with the template to be sure that the tenon will fit into the mortise. Place the post tenon into the mortise and brace it in an upright position with the center line plumb. It may be a good idea to check the center line on the end of the log also at this juncture to be sure that it has not been shifted out of the vertical. The post must now be braced the other way so that the center line is 90 degrees to the horizontal line on the beam. This may be done with nails placed to measure in a 3-4-5 triangle, or a plywood template may be nailed onto the side. Set your scribers for the distance you want the post to be lowered. In our case, the distance between the top of the tenon and the flat seat on the beam. Check the scribers, then scribe the cutout for the beam onto the post. When both sides have been scored and cut, the job should be done.